Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, inspiration, and hope. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and it's my honor and privilege to be here today to host this show, Hot Topic. We are coming to you live from our studio here in Boca Raton, Florida, and we welcome people from all over the world to share their story. I'm super excited about our guest today because it turns out we already met in person and didn't even realize it till we were backstage. So it truly is a small world. Today, we're going to be talking about many topics, one of which is empowering women. We just had a show about the same topic just a little while ago today, authentic achievements. So joining me is an author, a philanthropist, an advocate for women empowerment, and also someone who is an entrepreneur and is going to tell us about her journey and her educational experience, which continues. She is a continuous learner, which is really exciting to me. I love that. So let's welcome, also joining us from Florida, what excitement, is a beautiful person. Come on out, Ms. Hollingsworth. Nice to have you with us today.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Jacalyn. I'm so privileged to be here. I feel so humbled to be on with you this morning. I want to say, though, I have to say this. I am definitely 100% Bahamian grown, authentic grown in the backyard of the Bahamas from West End, Grand Bahama. I see USA Global and I'm looking at all the beautiful flags that you've got there, but I don't see mine. So I'm going to challenge you right out the gate to somehow squeeze my little Bahamas flag. Tiny, tiny country, big, big, mighty presence, globally speaking. I'm gonna need us to get the flag up there, so that people can know we're going global with you. We're going global with you. But I love it. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk. I'm here at your disposal. Let's have some conversations with Cherish. Let's have some conversations.
Fantastic. And by the way, I love that. Thank you for that shout out about the Bahamas. I'm happy for us to add that flag. We actually have somebody who's been on our program a number of times. She's in the Bahamas and she's got Cafe Noel Channing. I'm not sure if you've ever been there.
Oh, in the capital.
Yeah, Loretta Thomas. She's great. She's in the Bahamas as well. So
see. So
yes, fabulous.
Let's keep going global. That's what we do.
We do, for sure. So we talked briefly backstage that we've already met in person, which is amazing, at an event, and you're very involved in the event as well. Before we get into that, tell us about, we see here Cherish the Day, which is your social media handle. Tell us about that. What is it? What does it stand for?
So I grew up, I'm gonna tell a little bit of my age. I'm definitely an 80s baby. I grew up a fan of Sade. And everybody knows the Sade song, Cherish the Day, right? And then there's so many other references made to the song. I'm the last of 5 children. So my parents together, they have 5 kids. I have 4 older brothers, and then there's me. And so I came out with that name, and I've decided, after paying very close attention to my life's journey and kind of what that name represents, I've branded myself as someone who maximizes opportunities. So I've learned to make the most of every single situation. I've learned to build a level of resilience that allows me to turn lemons into lemonade, right? Through positive thinking, through shifting perspective. And I evolved into Cherish the Day as someone who just has learned to make the most out of every single day. So Cherish the Day is about waking up each day, appreciating the gift that we have, which is life, unwrapping that gift on a daily basis to get the most out of it. Because cherishing the day and maximizing the day is less about what the day has to offer to us and more about what we can offer to it.
Brilliant. I love that. Thank you so much. One topic I'd really like to dive right into, we were talking about this on Authentic Achievements a little bit earlier. There's so much competition out there in the world. And as women, many times we either are really advocates for empowering one another, which you are, I am, but many times people are like, you know what, I'm not going to tell her what I'm doing. I'm not going to give her my secret or my information. I'm holding it tight like this, and no. So how is it that we break those patterns of behavior or change the mindset or the perspective and realize that there's enough to go around for all of us?
So there's 2 things. There's trust and there's relationship, right? I'm a realist. I think I should say that. My perspectives are my perspectives, but I try to keep it real. Women are by nature very competitive individuals. Women are instinctively, we're driven, and instinctively we kind of want to negotiate, right? We look at what happened way back in the garden, and we look at what one woman was able to do just because of the power that we possess. And I think that sometimes when we square off as women, it has sort of a different effect. I believe that when we embrace who we are, individually speaking, which includes our weaknesses, because everyone has weaknesses, and we come to a place of complementing one another, so that my weakness now allows your strength to shine, and your weakness does the same for me, because that's what it's about. Embracing those flaws and maximizing our strengths to help one another. When we get to that place, then women are going to be able to do even more in terms of the impact that we have locally, nationally, and globally speaking. But it's all relationship. And women we don't trust as easily as we should, you know?
Excellent points. Thank you. I remember when I was in high school, there were all these cliques. and, labels for each of the clicks. And so I'm wondering, with the work that I do, it's very isolating in a lot of ways because it's remote and people are on computers. But as you travel around and you meet with people, do you find that women are putting themselves in cliques like it was when we were growing up?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tell us about it, please.
Absolutely. And the cliques are so dangerous, right? But we absolutely do it as women, and men do it as well. So we're all born with this innate desire to belong. Everyone wants to belong to something. And that sense of belonging sometimes drives us into these toxic environments where the cliques are formed, and now we're all feeding off of one another's limiting beliefs and kind of toxic energy. Again, I think the way around that is to first know yourself, right? Because on the one hand, we use the word clique, which is sort of a toxic representation of a group of women. But on the other hand, you get a group of women together to do something and you call that empowerment. Same concept, group of women doing this, group of women doing that. But on one hand, it's a movement, and on the other hand, it's a clique. So we just have to be careful about the kind of energy that we're representing, the kind of energy we allow in our space, and then the kind of groups that we want to be involved in, because the cliques do exist. And I find them to be a limitation to progress that women can make, because when those cliques are formed, their sort of assignment is not really to lift other women. It's kind of to keep everyone out and within the clique to kind of achieve certain things within themselves, if that makes sense.
It absolutely does. And I think this is a great place to bring in your educational journey, because you're highly educated. And as you continue to learn new things, you're able to share with women. So what would you say are some key things that you can share for female empowerment based on the journey, the educational journey that you're on?
Based on my journey, I would have to say everything comes down to self-love. Everything comes down to self-worth. Everything comes down to resilience. So I'm gonna be transparent with you. Give me just one quick second.
Okay, well, she's off screen. Oh, she's back. Okay, here she is.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So I want to be transparent. I want to say that I literally met a lady today. So I went to a dental appointment before I came online, and someone was sharing with me in that office space. And I literally told her, like, being a woman is totally a superpower, right? But it's a superpower, and it's also a very, very difficult thing to do. What you see before you, Dr. Jacalyn, is someone who has been through everything. I don't speak to women and empower women based on my education alone. If I never went to school, if I never became a clinician, I would still have tremendous value in being able to share with women how they can navigate certain things, because I know what it is to be a single parent. I know what it is to keep pushing and keep pressing, because you have to make a way for these children, and you're not dependent on someone else because they're either not around by choice or by circumstance. And so I can speak to that woman and provide her a level of guidance. I know what it is to be the woman who's been in an abusive relationship. Like, I can tell you about driving on a highway and having a guy tell you, like, I can make it so that your family never finds you. And then he throws a cell phone out of the window, right? And now you're in a friggin' Lifetime movie Trapped. Like, I've been through those things. I know what it is to navigate like a really messy divorce. And each one of these situations could have been an opportunity for me to roll over and to fold and to give up and to kind of not evolve, because they're all traumatic experiences, right? But I tell people all the time, trauma is not really what happens to you. It's what happens on the inside of you. And it's not the event that causes us to feel the things we feel. It's the meaning that we give it. And so I've given each one of those experiences a different meaning, and I've literally used it to plummet me forward. So I can tell you now, if you're someone who's trying to start a business, you want to scale a business from the ground up, and you feel like you don't have resources, hey, guess what? All you need is an idea. you can transmit that desire into gold, like literally speaking. And so I'm able to provide through my experience one level of education for women. And then I went to school and did the sensible thing. I got the professional backing, right? Clinical and mental health. So there's so many dimensions to who I am. And there's so much that I want to do to help women and to share with women. And in your initial, I think it was the video you showed at the beginning, I heard you use that word hope. As a matter of fact, I don't think it was the video. I think it was you. The word hope was tied in there in one of your mission statements. And that is something that I live by. I literally call myself a hope dealer. What does that mean? I spread this message of healing, which is the first thing that women have to do. Healing that then positions you to take advantage of opportunities, right? These opportunities then enable us to walk and to fulfill purpose, and then we're able to empower others. And so I literally use that HOPE acronym all the time. I'm also the founder of the HOPE Foundation, which is largely linked to some of the things that you do, very closely aligned with this message of global empowerment for all people, but for women specifically and very heavily. So that's a lot of words, but it is what it is.
I love that you shared that you're a hope dealer. I've never heard that before. That's brilliant. A question I have for you is, with everything that you've accomplished and you continue to accomplish, have you found that certain people, certain circles that you were involved in maybe have gone by the wayside because you're perceived as a threat to some people because you continue to evolve and grow?
Yes, absolutely. I've lost many friends. I've lost a lot of social connections. I am not in the business of making an apology for who I am, and I want to be clear about that. When you feel the need to walk away, that's on you. It is not my responsibility to take on your insecurities. It's my job to shine. It's my job to go out there and create opportunities for myself, in order to position myself for success and my children for a sustainable future. Because a part of what I am mandated to do, I am a Bible believer. I am obligated to leave an inheritance for my children. And I don't have time to waste with people that are intimidated, and they are, or people that will choose to walk away. When you walk away, the message is clear. You're not a part of the journey. You're not supposed to be a part of the journey, because those who are connected to me will remain. Those who are supposed to be there will remain. So, but I've experienced it. They walk away. It's fine. We keep shining. There's enough shine to go around.
And I love the transparency and how real you are, because what I want people to take away from what we're discussing at this moment is that you will lose people. People will go by the wayside, and you can sit and cry and be upset and maybe have conversations. Well, why weren't you there? Let them go.
It's not a loss.
Right.
Why do we even call it a loss? It's a gain. The people that are there for the season, they're only there for this season. And so again, it's not what happens. It's the meaning we give it. It feels like a loss when you call it a loss. When my husband left me, that was a win. Like, you know what I mean? It was a win. I didn't feel that way all the time. There were many days when I felt like it was a loss. And then I had to, slap myself up in the mirror and say, hey, it's time for you to practice some of what you preach. It's definitely a win. Get gone and let me be on about the business of education, women empowerment, trying to spread a kingdom message, because I need people to know that my faith is my everything. And without it, without God, I would be nothing. And like I said, it's no more losses. Let them walk away. It's a win. This message is for every woman that has ever had anyone to walk away from them. Sweet girl, you want to win inside. All right, it's a win.
I totally agree with what you're saying. And Cherish, what I'm also thinking is, one thing that gets in my way that I've really had to work on is keeping my emotions in check. When something happens and it's not the way I wanted it to be, I can feel it starting to bubble up inside, and it's like, what am I going to do? It's like, take the emotion and go ahead and check it. And I've gotten feedback from people, you're very masculine, you're very direct, I guess I am. Yes, I guess I am. There's still a soft side of me, but at the same time, I have things I want to get accomplished. And if I let the emotion consistently rule me, I'm not going to be able to get to where I need to go. What are your thoughts about emotions and keeping them in check?
We have to keep our emotions in check. Women are highly emotional beings. I am not someone that has always, while I'm on the side of women empowerment, I've always been very cautious to women in leadership roles because I know how emotional we can be. And sometimes our emotions inform some of the decisions that we make on a very important level where we really should not be allowing that to happen. So I would say to you, continue to be strong, continue to square your shoulders. It is not your job to allow everyone to see you in that vulnerable state. It's not your job to allow everyone to see you in an emotional state. Yes, you can be soft. Yes, you can be beautiful. Yes, you can be sexy. But when you walk into a room and you're conducting business, you have the right to square your shoulders. And that's just it, you know. But leaving your emotions out of it is key. I would have in the past had to endure certain consequences because there have been times in my younger self, right? I talk like an old person. There have been times in my younger days when I allowed my emotions to kind of take over, but self-control is a fruit of the spirit. When you master the art of self-control, then you control the energy. And so I think that's really key. Self-control, keeping your emotions out of it, because cognitively speaking, once you get emotional, you can't even make rational decisions anymore, right?
It's so true. It's so true. And I'd love to just expand on this because I think this is an interesting topic. When you are dealing with someone, whether it's personally or professionally, and they're highly emotional, I like to compare it to this. You can go there with them, right? It's almost like a fire where you're throwing fuel, and you've seen people do this. Well, you're this and you're that, and then blah, 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 and then on and on. It keeps building and building and building. But if you just stay true to yourself, it's almost like you're a wall and it just bounces off of you. What is your direction, your coaching for people who are in a relationship where the other person is highly emotional?
Leave it alone. Take your time, not walk away from the person. You need to have a plan in place where when it gets to that level in a conversation, you both agree it's time for a timeout, and then you can come back and revisit. But if you continue to try and communicate while one person has already flipped the lid, you're not going to get through to them. So the way the brain works, once that area in the brain is triggered, it doesn't matter what you're saying to someone who is highly emotional and who's already flipped the lid. No matter what you say to them, all they're hearing is this. And you're going to get frustrated because you feel like you're talking to a brick wall. They're getting frustrated because they don't want you saying nothing to them anyhow. And they're not processing nothing you say because they've already gone into this other area of processing. And the best thing to do is, I get it. Let's take a little time out. We don't have to talk about this now. We can revisit it later. But there's no amount of progress to be gained when two people, whether in marriage or relationship or business, are having a conversation at that extremely heated level. Because once you freak out, you've freaked out, and there's nothing that can be achieved there at all.
It's so true. And I know for myself, I'm in control of my emotions because I work on it. But in the past, when I haven't been, I just felt so darn foolish. I just thought to myself, how could I let myself get so overwhelmed about something that I let somebody in and take control? I gave them my power. And so that's something else I'd like to talk about is when we think about empowering each other, we have the power. But we don't often see that we have the power, and we give it to somebody else. And then we're like, oh, I wish I was like her, or him, or this or that. No, we have it in ourselves. How can we tap into it?
We have the power. We have the power. And I always tell people the greatest power that we have is the power to choose, right? And so we get to choose the way we interact with people. We get to choose the amount of influence that we allow them to have over us. And it's a very tricky conversation because it all comes down to self-regulation, self-care, standard of self in terms of the way we operate, and who we allow to influence that. Every single thing, Dr. J, it comes back down to self. You have the power, okay? You have the power to choose if you're going to be offended or not. If you're offended, that's not necessarily on the person who committed the offense. That's largely on the way you received it. So there was, I forget who he was, some old ancient poet or someone. He coined this phrase, right, that the masses are asses. When you look at life through that lens, you realize that most people are likely to offend you at some point. One of the things that made Jesus Christ who he was in the earth is he never got offended. Look at what they spit on him, they did this, they talked about him, they arrested him, there was a whole bunch of stuff going on, right? But he never got offended, because if he got offended enough, he might have never made it to the cross. And so here is this living example of, listen, sometimes you gotta, let people talk, but don't take that in your spirit. Don't allow that to become active in your space, and don't give up your power. Don't give it that level of energy. And so I'm really big on energy preservation. I'm really big on how I respond to people now and what I allow myself to feel, because I get to choose. It comes back to the win-loss. I chose in the beginning, I was losing out. I later decided it's a win. And I've been walking in some of the best years of my life ever since then.
I love what you just shared. And for me, when someone has a different perspective or a different opinion, I love to hear what it is, because I want to learn. I don't want to be around everyone who thinks the same and looks the same and does the same. I remember the first time I was in New York City, my parents took me there, and I think we were sitting outside at a restaurant, and people were speaking different languages, and they looked at it. I was like, wow, this is really cool. I love this. And I've always been like that, but many people are not. They want people who think the same, they look the same, and there's no judgment, but that's not evolution as far as I'm concerned in my life. So
there's too much of the same already.
Yeah, it's very true. Now, you're also an author, and from what I saw on Amazon, it looks like you have 3 books. Is that correct?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So I have 3 publications right now. 2 of them are mental health inspired and gratitude journals. It's about pulling yourself out of a dark place in 30 days. There's some things in there in terms of routine and practice that would encourage you to get out of that state, which means that the journaling entails a lot of self-talk and self-care. What are some of the goals I have for myself today? What is one good thing that happened in the day? What is an obstacle that I overcame? A lot of awareness and agency, for lack of a better word. And the objective is that if you can get yourself to this place of gratitude every single day, then over a period of time, this would become a habit. And the habit is where we want to be, because as people, we are only patterns of what we say, patterns of what we think, patterns of what we do. And if we can interrupt the pattern and restructure the pattern, then we become more progressive and more productive as people. And so the mental health journals are geared towards interrupting the pattern and getting us to be more progressive, more productive as people. There's one there for men and one for women. And then there's the Flawed Faithful Free publication, which is inspired by the stories of many different women. So I sat down in the middle of the pandemic. I put sort of a blast out to hear from women that have been going through a lot. And that book is a compilation of resilient stories, real stories, using aliases, of course, but real stories of women that have gone through. It's about embracing your flaws. It's about discovering yourself and walking in freedom. So that's a really powerful book for women, especially if you are in that place where you need to be empowered. I feel like sometimes you feel like it's only you that's going through something, But when I share my story and then you share your story, we realize that our stories are not really that different, right? And then that in itself becomes very empowering and very encouraging. So
Absolutely. And for those who are listening on one of the audio platforms, we're actually showing on Amazon here the 3 publications that you can go ahead and order on Amazon. So please go ahead and do that. Okay.
yes,
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you so much.
So I have a question for you about the journaling, because I've always wondered this. Some people will say, write it down and then rip it up. Write it down and shred it. What do you think is the value to writing it down and keeping it?
So there are 2 things. There are 2 levels of writing, right? When you want to write something down in terms of progress, that takes on more of the attitude of I'm writing down the vision, I'm making it plain because I want to achieve this. So there's a level of writing that would include vision boards, goal setting, prayer boards, things that you would put in front of you on your wall, on your mirror, on your refrigerator to keep you accountable. I do a lot of writing. If I took you into my bedroom, you would see tons of things on my wall. And then there's a level of writing that's associated with release. And these are the things that you don't tell people. You may not be comfortable sharing in a safe space, but these are the things that you need to let go. And there's significant value to be placed on that level of symbolism, because that is where you use action to kind of rid your space of these toxic memories, these limiting beliefs, things that you want out of your life. And I've seen this in, I think it was many years ago, I've even seen it in I want to say in the Fireproof series, where they encouraged couples to do this thing as well, sort of a write down everything that offends and everything that, whatever, and then you light it on fire or you tear it up. The symbolism behind that is just forgiveness and letting go, because you can't open your hands to receive what's coming if in that same hand you're holding on to everything that has let you down and everything that has become a barrier to your progress. So it's sort of a one hand, but there's value in both. There's value in both. I've done it before. Wrote some stuff down, shredded them.
Absolutely. So we have choice, basically.
Always choice.
And
Always.
something that you just mentioned, I just want to touch on also, because I've coached a number of people, I've interviewed a number of people, and something that I found, especially with women, I don't know why specifically, but we hold on to something from years ago. And then when we get upset, I have to throw it in your face that 15 years ago, you this, you that, you.
So toxic.
Tell us more.
It's so toxic, right? But how do you tell a woman not to hold on to something who carries a baby for like a whole year? Wow, it's so toxic. But women have to learn to let it go, Dr. J. We have to learn to let it go. That is a toxic female trait that we have to learn to manage. There's no real forgiveness if you consistently have to bring it up. And it's weird because I always tell people a woman can hold something for a really, really long time. And then you will do something today and you will wonder why she reacted that way. Like she blew it out of proportion. When in reality, in her mind, she is not even mad at what you just did. She's still mad over what you did, like way back then. And we have to learn to control that. I think that limits us in our relationships with one another. I think that's one of the reasons we can't lift each other up the way we should and empower each other the way we should. We have to accept that people are people and stop holding it to the death of them just because somebody hurt you. People are going to hurt you. People are going to let you down. Stop allowing it to inhibit your progress and stop allowing it to cause you to burn bridges that you may need down the line. Now, I'm not saying to be friends with everyone and, to allow people access to you, to hurt you over and over again. But I'm saying use wisdom. If you forgive, move on. If you're going to keep them in your life, keep them in your life. If you're going to cut them off, cut them off. But you can't keep looking back in the rearview mirror 15 years ago, because that's not progress. It's just not progress. We have to learn how to not do that.
Absolutely agreed. And something else I think is really important is when someone shows you who they are, believe them.
Believe them.
Believe
That's
them.
who
And
they
stop
are.
trying to change them. I mean, we think, oh, he's going to change. She's going to. No, we can't even change ourselves. We're going to change someone else.
Thank you. That's it. That's it. We just believe them. When they show you who they are, we have to believe them. I agree with you 1,000%.
All right, you've got two of us saying there it is. When they show you who they are, then believe them. So you also do a lot of work as a philanthropist, which is fantastic. Tell us the value in your life by giving and helping others. How's it changed you or enhanced you, or whatever word you would use to describe?
So a lot of people don't know this about me, or maybe they do. I've always had a heart to give. I grew up, like I said, in a very large family. I watched my parents sacrifice on end to make ends meet, but also to provide my brothers and I with the best level of education. But it wasn't because they had so much money back then. It was because they literally sacrificed everything. Sometimes as a young child in elementary school, I would watch my parents to pay the big fee of private school education for 5 kids. They would make that sacrifice on the one end, but then on the other end of that same coin, we were all in a private school with like $2 a day trying to get lunch. There was times maybe up until the 7th grade, I had like 2 jumpers for school. Sometimes in a school year, I had 1 because like they had 5 sets of uniforms to buy. It wasn't just me. Me and my brothers are all 1 year apart. My parents were having a lot of fun back in the day. But I saw that struggle. And I appreciated so much the level of sacrifice, because even though they didn't have, they made sure that every single year we were in a private school. Every year we did the family vacations. Every year we did the Christmas vacations. I don't know where they got all the money from to do all these things, except they sacrificed. And I always knew that I wanted to be able to help people, because I know what it is to like not have. And when I established the foundation, it was on this basis of providing younger people with some of the opportunities. So I was a Division I athlete. I went to school on a track and field scholarship that was 100% paid. If I was not able to go to school on that full athletic scholarship at the time, I would not have been able to go to school at all, because my parents were tapped out. They paid out of pocket for the first 2 children, and I'm like number 5. Let's be real. That puts me at the bottom in the line. So there were things that I had to purpose in my heart to achieve. And through those experiences, I always knew that I wanted to give back, because I didn't want the generation after me running barefoot on a grass track. I wanted that generation to have like shoes and facilities. And so a lot of what I feel in my heart to do back home and even internationally speaking is just driven by some of those experiences, right? I would go now and I would have girl camps every year. They would be free to the children. It's very difficult sometimes to get the funding for those projects that I want to roll out, because again, people are in competition with you and people are toxic. So they don't see the value in what you do. And if it's something that you really believe in, you have to go into your pocket to make it happen. So a lot of times I just go into my pocket, I carry the resources for like 100 girls, and I spend time on the ground with them. We share, we talk, we play lots of volleyball. I've learned how to integrate levels of sports into my outreach, and so the sports is kind of what draws them in, but then we get to have some really good conversations and some really good mentorship sessions. And that's what I'm about, because I see what these children can be with guidance, and I see what they can be when they're left to fall in the crack. And everybody has trauma. Everybody has trauma. 80% of women, just about at one point or another, either has been molested or knows someone, a very close family member, that has been molested. The statistics will show you a large percentage of women, out of every 5, at least 3 of them have been involved in some sort of domestic violence. Like, women have trauma. I don't want to say it like that, but we go through these demeaning experiences. And my job is to give women hope, to give young women hope, to give these children hope, and just to try and help everybody heal and bring them to a place of empowerment where you understand that, listen, you've not lost your value. You still have value. You're still valuable. You are still exactly who God said you are, the apple of his eye, a royal priesthood, a peculiar nation, called. There's still a plan for good and not evil. That's my job, to give people that level of hope and get them to buy in. But it's very difficult sometimes from a philanthropy perspective, you know, because it's money. Whenever you're dealing with money, people act kind of funny.
That is so true. Bring up money and watch somebody change. It's
Yes.
crazy. But you're doing incredible work. And as we come to the end of this episode, I want to talk about Cherish the Day. What can our audience do to support you and the work you're doing?
So here's what the audience can do. I'm going to throw in a plug right now. Mercy and I, you know, my partner in London, my friend, my very good friend, Mercy and I have come up with a product to empower women on a completely different level right now. We are in the middle of a very low cost initiative. For about $700, we're going to cruise into Grand Bahama Island on a 1-day turnaround cruise. And we're going to spend 2 days, 2 nights in the city of Miramar, exclusively empowering women. What does this look like? Well, Princess Katrina is coming from Yugoslavia. She's the first cousin of King Harry. We have Queen Sekatali, who's coming out of South Africa. We have another Nigerian princess on board. I don't want to call too many names. I have the First Lady of the Bahamas, who is the wife of my Prime Minister, along with my Director of Investments, who is also a female. We have, through relationship alone, because the budget is very limited, but through relationship alone and sharing this the vision with other women who believe and they bought into it, they've all jumped on board to say, we want to be a part, we want to share our story, and we want to empower women as well. And so now we're about to set sail and spend some time here. You should come here in Boca. We're going to spend some time here, but what this is going to do, this is going to provide access for many women to key people in leadership, globally speaking, key women in leadership that have gone through what we've been through, but that can provide us with another level of insight. Because these women aren't just coming, they're coming to share and talk, like how you and I are talking, right? And when else would you be able to sit down and have an interview with the First Lady of the Bahamas or the Princess of Yugoslavia, right? We wanted to show women that our titles don't separate us. Whether you are up here or down there, the playing field is level. The ground is level when we talk about women. And we're here to help and to empower. And so this is what we have going on right now. Mercy and I want to get as many women as we can on board that ship. There's going to be lots of education on advocacy for women, access to resources for those women who are struggling to get businesses off the ground, healing, mental health, integrated approach to wellness and well-being, a little bit of talk in there about faith. There'll be some fun stuff. There'll be like a royal tea party and a gala event. We're hoping to tie in at the end. We're going to expose them to Bahamian culture. We're going to expose them to the culture here in Miramar. We're partnering with the commissioner and some of what they have going on the ground, because they're like you. They're really inclusive in terms of global perspective and economic development. But this is an opportunity unlike any other. It is truly an opportunity unlike any other. So anybody that wants to get to know me a little better and what I'm about, and not just know me, but who wants to experience another level of like breakthrough, like you flat out need a shift, you need to be there. You need to go to my Facebook page, check out my events page, and see how you can be a part of that event, see how you can connect with me, connect with Mercy. Let's empower women on another level. This has never been done before. Never in the history of women empowerment have we been able to assemble an A-list team of royals to come and share with women just like me, just like you. And I really think that everyone should be trying to be a part of this.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. We're going to actually bring up the Facebook page here for people to take a look at.
Oh, definitely.
There we go. So where can people find here information about your events?
Something should be pinned to my profile. There's a pin right there. I think it's the first thing that you see.
Right here?
That's right there.
Okay.
Yes. And all of my contact information is there. There's a website. The website is currently being updated to reflect huge price drops because initially we thought it would cost about $1,100 per passenger to pull it off. But we've gotten some partners on board that have been able to take that cost down significantly. There's no major profits in this for me and Mercy at all. There's no major profit in this at all. We are still trying to secure substantial sponsorship. We have South Africa tourism on board. We have Bahamas tourism on board, but we are still open to partner with individuals. Dr. J, let me show you something. If you have a product, if you have a book, if you have a subscription, if you have a perfume, if you have anything that you want to go global instantly, you just need to be on board that ship and put those samples in the hands of all of these individuals that are going to be there. 6- and 7-figure earners. Like I say, members of the royal family, you will leave there going global. It's a no-brainer. Bring your books, put them in the hands of these people. You never know who's going to read it. You never know who's going to try it. You never know what this is going to do for you. And I believe that this can change the lives of many people.
And what's the date for this specific event?
It's happening May the 15th through the 19th. So we still have a bit of time. We have about 60 women that have registered, which includes a contingent of 30 out of Africa, out of Ghana, 30 out of Ghana, and the rest are local. When I say local, I mean USA and Canada, because I do have a partner in Canada. We have a humanitarian arm that we're going to be doing on the ground, 100 kits for girls. We're going to go into Grand Bahama. It will be an option to go and have a play day at the beach. And then some of us will go in and do some outreach because I am a humanitarian. And we've allocated the resources for that aspect already. But it's May 15th through the 19th, happening right after Mother's Day. You know, get pampered and then come on a break.
Outstanding. I am so grateful that you are here today. And I feel that you and I have a lot of things in common and we will be doing more things together.
I'm so happy. I'm so excited when I realized we met before. I should know because I don't really forget a pretty face, to be honest. And I was looking at you like, where do I know this face from? And you have really nice legs. I remember the legs. I do.
Oh my gosh. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. What's the best way for people to reach out to you and who would you like to contact you?
They can reach out to me online. Anyone can contact me. I get, so let me don't say anyone. I get a lot of messages in my inbox. Some of those messages look like, can you pray for me? Some of those messages look like 2 a.m. in the morning. I just need someone to talk to and I'm afraid to share. I don't always like those. I have boundaries. I don't always reply to those. And then some of those look like, I really want to connect. Can I give you a call? Sometimes I'll set up a call through social media platforms. But there's my contact information. I have a business line on there. If you shoot me a message and let me know what it's in regards to, I use my discernment, I use my power to choose. And I try to make myself available to people that are in need because that's my job. I'm a hope dealer. If I can just say something that'll change your life, I'm definitely going to try.
The first and only hope dealer we've ever had here. So thank you so much for being with us today. And
you're a hope dealer.
I've never put it like that, though, in that packaging. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
But I hope you'll come back and see us again soon. Yes. And I look forward to reaching out to you off the air.
Yeah, I had lots of fun. Thank you so much, Dr. J. Thank you so much.
See you again soon.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone, for being here, whether you're watching on the live or the replay or you're listening on one of our platforms. We continue to expand. We are moving on to Roku as well as all the places that we're streaming right now. I would encourage you to go over to our YouTube channel, which is USA Global TV and Radio, and subscribe. We have typically 35 live broadcasts each week. And if you would like to be a guest on any of our shows, let me put up our banner here. You can go over to usaglobaltv.com and book your session. Of course, I don't have the banner here, but you can also subscribe to our channel. There it is, USA Global TV and Radio, and we'd love to support you and your work. So thank you. We're going to go over to our sponsors right now who are extremely important. We wouldn't be able to be here without them. So thank you for joining us, and please take a look and a listen to our sponsors. Bye for now.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Caruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating more memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Bella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book, Bella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Bella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com. and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
Meet Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, President, Founder, and Chief Listening Officer of USA Global TV and Radio. She is a certified life, career, and executive coach. Dr. Jacalyn is the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Behind the Green Screen and Adversity to Awesome. As the listening mentor, she teaches children and their families how to listen at an elevated level through the book series titled The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor. The Creative Hearts Awakening book series features heart-centric creatives who share their awakening journey. Through the Power of Listening educational course platform, people can get certified as elevated listeners on USA Global TV and Radio. Learn how to center yourself and align with nature through the power of nature, plants, and shrines. The Journey of Chakra Psychology course will educate you on the chakras and their meaning. The Intuition of the Heart course will help you understand how to trust your intuition. Learn how to face the shadows of self and understand the impact of following trends and materialism. Set boundaries and ask for permission to help establish better relationships, deeper connections, and more authentic conversations. Take your communication expertise to a higher level with the course for curious humans. After all, we are not robots. Looking to start your own podcast platform? Get everything you need in the Podcaster Pro package with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. How can music, breath, and your voice set you free? Find out with the Power of Listening courses. Dr. Jacalyn is a certified meditation teacher, yoga instructor, and Juice Plus distributor. She will help you create a plan for your healthy lifestyle. As an expert in the art of interviewing with over 3,000 hosted and/or produced live broadcasts, Dr. Kerbeck helps her clients stand out as global broadcasters. Dr. Kerbeck's books are available on Amazon. Start your listening journey by reading. Tune into the Listening Mentor TV show, Fridays on USA Global TV, and learn how listening can be your superpower. Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, MBA, DBA, Certified Holistic Life, Career, and Executive Coach, Certified Yoga Sculpt Teacher, Certified Meditation Teacher, the Listening Mentor, Singer-Songwriter, Founder, President, Chief Listening Officer of USA Global TV and Radio. drjacalyn.com. Thank you to all our elevated listeners, team members, animal characters, and co-authors. Contact us at 215-852-9406. Jacalyn at drjacalyn.com.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Story Garden. Your host, Diane Boehm. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Diane Floyd Boehm tells wonderful stories that warm the heart, spark the imagination, and unite people and families across generations. For children, Diane's Harry the Camel connects with all of us who've ever wondered how different our lives might have been if only we'd been born something better, like a wonderful horse instead of an ordinary camel. In the end, we all learn along with Harry that there's nothing better than just being yourself. Diane's Little Girl in the Moon looks down on earthbound children and wonders if they know she's just like them. A story of love, home, and the bond between mother and daughter, its powerful theme that we're each of us different yet all of us the same plants a seed in children that promises to blossom within a loving and trusting grown-up. Diane's new biography, Rise, recounts the experiences of her grandmother, Ruby, to reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit. Ruby's story inspires all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You'll find all of Diane's delightful books and much more at dianefloydboehm.com. Visit dianefloydboehm.com. That's dianefloydboehm.com.